Hi lovelies, I did something a little bit out of character. In the last few days I ordered 3 new decks and I managed to refrain from ripping them open when they arrived so that they could all come together so that I could unbox them on camera and talk a little bit about tarot and all that good shizzle. I'm not sure which one is which, so I'm just going to start with the one at the top. Okay, so the first one is Shadowscapes Tarot. I've been meaning to get this for quite a while now. It didn't grip me when I first saw it, and I'm still not entirely sure how well I'm going to get on with it. I bought it because I've consistently heard people say that they get great readings out of it, and I know a lot of people for whom it is absolutely their favourite deck of all time. And I know people as well who use it for very specific things. So like they won't use it to read for clients, for example. It will be their personal deck that they use and keep kind of near their altar, and it will be the one that they use to read for themselves. So that kind of intrigued me. And then I was having a look at the images on my new laptop, and there's a touchscreen facility on my new laptop, and you can kind of zoom in and mess about with the images. And actually the closer up that I saw the images and the clearer that I saw them, and the more that I spent time paying attention to them, the more I knew that this deck had to be a part of my collection. So I'd love to know below if you own the Shadowscapes Tarot and your thoughts on it. Okay, could not work out how to get that box open and nearly ripped it, so that wasn't a good start. The cardstock's thinner than I thought it would be, actually. I don't know why, I thought it would just be kind of more sturdy than that, but I'm not really a big cardstock fascist. I know a lot of people are really kind of stringent about cardstock and will complain about bad cardstock or kind of flimsy cardstock, and I totally appreciate that because a deck does need to last a long time and it does take a lot of abuse, especially if you read for a lot of other people. So I do understand that, but I just tend to have this this kind of opinion where, you know, if the cardstock isn't really up to scratch, I'll just shuffle a little more gently and make sure that I repackage a little more diligently, and that's it really. I've never kind of lost a deck through the cardstock being bad. However, I haven't been collecting decks or working with other decks aside from the Rider-Waite for very long. So I think if I was a hardcore collector for many years and I had like 50 decks in my collection, then I definitely probably would be more interested in cardstock and pay attention to cardstock a little more. So yeah, the cardstock is kind of very thin, paper thin. I love the backs of the cards, that's really pretty. Okay, so first impressions, I guess. I'm getting a real feeling of, I mean, it's quite pagan, this imagery, and it's quite fairy-like too, you know. I'm just getting all these kind of thoughts about the fae and stuff like that. I love this shiny, like, grey, purple, I mean, I'll show you some close-ups a while later in the video, but I really like the border. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to get on with this deck. I really like the interpretation of strength. I don't know, I didn't do a test before I started this video, so I don't know if this will auto-focus or what you can actually see. I should have thought about that, but I was so excited to rip these boxes open, you can't imagine. So yeah, I'm not sure what you can see, but I'll definitely show you guys some close-ups. Just want to let you know it comes with the little white book. I'll be taking a look through that. But I mean, I don't think it's going to be anything too different from what we're used to. The Two of Swords, a stalemate, an impasse, neither side will compromise. Okay, this is, yeah, it's kind of your standard definitions that you would expect. Eight of Swords, do not waste energy on the trivial or freeze up in a crisis. Resist the urge to feel restricted, confused, powerless, and trapped by circumstances. So it's just really one or two sentences to kind of give you a taste of what the card's all about, but nothing in any way markedly different whatsoever from what you'd find in any book or in any blog. Package number 2. I'm so excited about the Lovers Tarot deck. Like, this has been on my wish list for so long. It's the Jane Lyle deck, and it's been on my wish list for about 6 months. I'm very excited. So let's begin. Do you know, I feel so unbelievably spoiled, but I do buy myself presents at Samhain, and they will normally be kind of spirituality or tarot themed. I kind of, yeah, it's almost like, you know, when you buy yourself a present for your birthday. I'll never do that, but I will buy myself some gifts for Samhain, and it just so happened that I just kind of got my tarot head on, and money just fell out of my bank account. This is a very sturdy box. That's a really pretty little white book actually as well. Okay, there's quite a lot more detail. Actually, I wouldn't say quite a lot more detail. There's a keyword for each card, which is actually quite cool. It's such a tease when there's a second bit of plastic around the cards. This is the kind of deck that you would see in a film. Like, it's really iconic. It's so memorable. I feel like once I've worked with these images a few times, they're just going to stick in my head. I mean, the colours, and it's just so... I mean, there's something about it that I think a lot of people would find like they can't connect with it, in a sense, because of the style of the art that's being used and everything. But as soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted it in my collection. The cards are quite big as well. Let me just see if they'll be difficult to shuffle. Oh yeah, they will be difficult to get my hand around. I've got quite small hands, it's often been remarked upon. So yeah, they're going to be really tough to shuffle. I love all this classic art and the way everything's kind of based on old pictures and stuff, and I fell in love with the strength card, which I'll show you in the close-ups. I did fall in love with the strength card, so I saw that and I knew I had to have it. Oh my god, the Hermit is just so cool. Oh, what? That is just ridiculous. Oh my god, this is magic, absolute magic. This is a seriously pretty deck. I'm actually completely in love with it. I'm a little bit bowled over. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, so the pips in this deck are not illustrated. They're kind of like the standard old school situation whereby you'll just have like the 9 of pentacles and 9 pentacles, 9 of swords and 9 swords. This bothers a lot of people, and actually a lot of people talk about how if the entire deck was created the way the major arcana is structured with these different visuals, then they would purchase the deck. But because the pips are kind of not very illustrative and are kind of very simplistic and old school, like Marseille deck kind of vibe, they won't actually purchase the deck. I do think that's probably the correct way forward for learners, for students who very much still feel that they need that instant connection to the imagery. But for me, it's not going to be an issue. I fell in love with the major arcana of the Lover's Tarot, and I couldn't get it out of my head that I needed to own it. So the fact that the pips are not, there's not a lot happening there. I mean, there really isn't. That wasn't a turn off for me, but I really feel like I'm to that stage now where I can instantly connect with the energies. I'm not saying, however, that everybody who is against or kind of wouldn't want to own a deck that didn't have illustrated pips is still a learner or doesn't have a handle on the energies. That's not what I'm saying at all. There are a great many people who've been reading tarot for a lot longer than I have who would not want to own a deck in which all of the cards in the 4 suits were like that. You know, they just wouldn't want to own it. It's not got the depth that they require, and I completely appreciate that. But I do think when you're kind of long in the tooth like me and you've been messing around with tarot for a long time, you can make certain sacrifices if you really think that the major arcana is something that you need to have in your collection. If you see the pictures and you just fall in love, then I think, you know, it's definitely something that you can consider. And the court cards are kind of as you would expect, the court figures. So yeah, I'm really excited with it. I'm excited. I think I might play with this one as soon as I finish filming. Third and final one, and I already know what it's going to be. Revelations Tarot. I completely and utterly fell in love with it the other night, and I literally could not turn the computer off without knowing, like, for sure, for real, that it was on its way to my house. I had to purchase. I'm so excited about this deck. I'm literally salivating to get it open. Oh my god, where the hell are my scissors? Let's do this. This is a very fancy box. I feel like it's Christmas. This is just like so awesome. And the book is what I expected. The companion book has been very highly praised and is a right proper little book. So I'm going to be going through that. That's really exciting. I'll let you guys know more potentially if I do reviews or discussions about Revelations Tarot, what I thought of this book. But yeah, it's always great when you get a book of this kind of this juicy kind of size with the deck. That's always really lovely. Okay, this deck is a complete and total trip. The magical thing about this deck, okay, is first of all the imagery is so like surreal and hallucinogenic, and it's just so marvellous. I fell in love with the Death card, which I'll show you in the close-ups at the end of the video. And I took a look around at the other cards and I just thought I need to own this deck. This deck is definitely speaking to me in a massive way. But the really awesome thing about Revelations Tarot is that the reversal of the card looks somewhat like some kind of inverted or strange or slightly weird and wonderful version of the upright card. And this is what really sealed the deal for me. Again, I'll show you in the close-up so you can kind of get more of a idea of what I'm talking about. But for example, you know, this is the Hierophant, and then when you reverse the Hierophant, there's a slightly different figure with a slightly different energy and different connotations to him. And this is what really struck me about the deck, and this was what really made me kind of click add to cart. You know, I fell in love with the imagery, but then it was really the concept and the way it plays with reversals, because I do use reversals. That was what really like clinched it for me. And I can't believe that I now own this death card. It is just so fabulous. And yeah, I know that I'm gonna, oh my god, Temperance is just amazing. I'm sorry. I know that I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this deck. I'm so excited to work with this deck. It just looks so awesome. I have never in my natural life bought 3 tarot decks at once and opened them at once. I am now feeling a little dehydrated. I'm so excited that I might have to go and drink some water. And yeah, this has just been amazing. I just feel like, wow, what a gift to myself. There's so much to learn and so much to think about and so many notes to make, and this is really going to see me through to the end of the year. I definitely won't need to put any more to the collection now. Really happy to get the Lovers Tarot off my wish list and into my hands. Shadowscapes, I'm definitely not regretting it. I think that there's some major journaling to be done on this particular deck. I'm really excited about it. Oh my god, the 3 of Wands is just fantastic. So yeah, I'm really excited to own it, and I'm so excited to get into discussions with other people who really love it, with people who really favour it. I mean, I want to talk to everybody who owns it, whether they like it or not. Because it has made a big impact, and it is one of those decks that you've at least got to consider. You've at least got to have a proper good look and think about whether or not it might be right for you and right for your collection and something that you want to play with. I definitely don't believe in buying and owning decks just because they're kind of the new thing on the block and everybody has them. Not at all. If you've got money to spunk up the wall, as we say in England, then that's fine. But if you don't, if you really want to be considered, and if you don't want to kind of waste any space or waste any money, it's really important to get a sense of whether or not you could do anything with them. And they did start to grow on me, and I did kind of think to myself, I would love to buy the deck, to own it, and to have proper discussions with people who are so interested in it, because some of the passion, either way, positive or negative, is very interesting to me with Shadowscapes. So I'm really glad that I gave myself the chance to own it. And Revelations Tarot is blatantly going to be revelatory. What can I say? I'm hugely excited to own it and work with it. So I'm going to show you guys some close-ups of some of the cards now. I hope you enjoy that. Okay, I could only get enough light to show you guys outside, which is really frustrating. Hang on. This is the image of the Fool in Revelations Tarot. I'm going to show you guys Death. So if you just check out the Hierophant, so it's like this way and then this way. There's kind of a different energy, you know, and they're all kind of like that. So I think that's really cool. This is the card that made me buy the deck. I mean, that's just magical. It's just so awesome. I love the bones and the teeth and the kind of fetus, like tangled fetus. It's just so cool. Temperance is a surprise. It's very kind of yeah, very celestial. This is the Moon and the Sun in Revelations Tarot. Here's the Magician in the Lovers Tarot, and the High Priestess. So you can see it's all this Renaissance art kind of thing. This is the Emperor, kind of like a crazy mountain man guy. And the Lovers, so it's very classic, very traditional imagery. And then your pips are kind of look like this. So very simple. This is Strength in the Shadowscapes deck. It's just so beautiful. It's a really majestic image. Wheel. This is the Moon. Look how cute the Ace of Wands is. Look at those foxes. One thing I will mention before I love you and leave you guys is that the Revelations Tarot doesn't come with, you know what, it's supposed to come with a little bag. Maybe I'll check if it's in there and I'll let you guys know in the down bar. Or maybe it doesn't, I can't remember. But I couldn't see it anyway. So basically it doesn't come with a box or bag. So if you're thinking of purchasing Revelations Tarot, do be aware that you will need a bag handy to store it. Right, I'm going off to have a little play with my new decks. Much love, guys. Blessed be.